I call to order this regular select board meeting for the town of Underhill. It is Thursday, October 26th, 2023. It is 6 p.m. Do we have any adjustments to this warned agenda?
Nothing for me.
No.
Then we go on to the opening public comment. Is there anyone who wants to do an opening public comment at this opening of the meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I would just like to ask the select board to consider having Daphne Tanis no longer be a town official with cause based upon her conduct at the last Underhill Conservation Commission meeting. The recording speaks for itself far better than I can. And that type of defamatory conduct in response to protected speech just it crosses a whole new line that is just not acceptable. So I would really appreciate the select board review the recording of that meeting and consider removing her as a town official.
What was the date of the meeting?
October 9th.
Conservation Commission.
Yeah. And then for the public, I would just recommend that they check out underhillvt.com. It's a source of information about retaliation against me for a long period of time. And that's it.
Is that it?
Yep.
Thank you. Any other public comment? I don't see any. I don't hear anybody speaking up. So we will move to the first item on the agenda. I see Anton is on the TV for Halloween traffic calming in Underhill Center. What do you have, Anton?
Greetings, this is Anton Kelsey in Underhill for the record. One thing that we've considered on Halloween is the safety of folks. We know on Halloween with trick-or-treating in the center, there's obviously pedestrians in the roadway. And sometimes people coming into the center don't realize that that may be occurring. So one of the ideas was to put out a sign that says pedestrians in road with some traffic cones in the middle of the road just to let people know and get folks to slow down as they're coming into the center. So the rec committee, well, this is more a little bit me as an individual, just looking for permission to put some, from the board, to put some of those traffic calming measures in the road, you know, coming into the center from both directions, just to let people know that there's going to be kids and folks in the roadway during trick-or-treating time.
I'm wondering if we have a couple of those boards, you know, that we use.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if it might be handy too to use as a sign, letting people know what's up.
Yeah, we do have some signs that say pedestrians in roadway with a caution on it.
Okay,
So we
you
do.
already have some. You're welcome to use those. I would think they're not being used. The ones we use for announcing taxes and dog permits and that kind of thing. But that's another resource. I support, you know, what you're saying in any way that we can calm things. And it's always a good idea that daylight savings time is still in effect, so it's lighter, longer. At least the real little kids may be in before dark, but doesn't mean other people aren't out later. So I support that entirely.
Yeah. Anton, how many signs does the rec committee have?
I'm not sure if it's one or two. We actually just looked into it and ordered a couple, just in anticipation of you saying this was okay. So I'm not sure if there's one or two coming. And then we also have traffic cones. So we were thinking of one on each end, north and south, coming in, and then a handful of traffic cones as well.
Okay. Yeah, I support it too. I'm just wondering how many signs, and you would put them in the roadway, like right in the middle of the road?
Yeah, I'd have to get a sense of it, but I think the traffic cones I think would certainly be in the middle, and then the sign itself I might put off to the side, just depending on how things fit. But I, you know, and obviously, and I kind of went and walked some things just to see where the sight lines are good coming in. So when people coming around that corner, coming into the center, you know, both ways, they'd plenty ahead of time, so they wouldn't run the cones over or anything.
It's a great idea. It makes complete sense. Totally in support.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's like you can't stop traffic or impede it in any way, but you certainly can calm it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think that we have a consensus here that we can have you folks go ahead and do your thing.
Okay,
Do we have a
Great.
motion or vote, Brad, or?
No.
No,
Sounds good.
we aren't spending any money.
Barometer.
All right, so Anton, just give me, I'll show you where the cones are.
okay,
And the sign was coming to Sherry's house because it was coming on the weekend, so we'll get it together.
great.
Thank you, Anton, and for the rec committee's insight and forethought.
Mhm.
Indeed. All right, well, thanks, appreciate the support.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, see you.
So we are moving on to the healthcare options.
And this one does require spending money, so.
A lot of money, I
Um,
hear.
huh?
A lot of money, I hear.
Well, healthcare is expensive.
It is indeed.
And retaining good employees is really important. Wouldn't you all say that?
Yes.
Some years it's not a big deal, but I feel that this is definitely worth bringing to your attention. So we have to let our health insurance company know, our medical insurance know which plan we want to go with for calendar year. It's on a calendar year, so for calendar year 2024, we need to let them know what we want to do. We switched 2 years ago from a gold plan to a silver plan, which that year reduced our medical expenses tremendously because it was a year that the difference was like 20-something%. So we have a silver plan, which is a higher deductible, higher out of pocket, lower premium. That same plan going into 2024, if we don't make any changes, is about a 12.69% increase for the premium. If we do nothing, there's no reason to look at MVP and switching from Blue Cross Blue Shield to MVP because it's about the same increase. So sticking with Blue Cross Blue Shield seems like a clear winner to me. And I did send you guys all the detail in your packet, and in addition to what was in the packet. So it's about a $9,000 increase if we do nothing and stick with the Blue Cross Blue Shield Silver plan. And there's a couple changes in the plan from this year to next year, and that is there's a slight increase in the out-of-pocket and a slight increase in the deductible. And why that's important is because the town of Underhill offers an HRA, and the HRA reimburses the employee basically for their out-of-pocket and their deductible. So if employees have higher medical expenses, then the town's going to pay more for that HRA piece of the pie. And that's not something that we can totally predict because it really depends on which employees are on the health insurance, and some of them are families, and and we aren't really privy to what people's individual health requirements are. But having said that, we generally over the last many years, and there's an analysis, spend about 60% of our HRA expense. So I did the whole analysis. It's included here. We could look at reducing from the silver plan to the bronze plan. Doesn't affect the employees, but it potentially opens the town up for even more money out of pocket because the deductible is that much higher. So it is my recommendation, and it is also Terry Martineau, who is our broker for, oh gosh, what's the name of the firm? Hickok and Boardman HR Intelligence. She agreed that she thinks that we should stick with the plan we have rather than reducing to the bronze plan. And I did include that in the plan here for you.
Now, the status, I know that when you go to a higher deductible and you have an HRA that helps with that, it's always a gamble, as you pointed out. How did we do? You know, with what we saved on premiums offset, I think I saw that number, offset by the claims and demands on the HRA.
Last year, we were a little higher.
A
That
little
we had
higher
anticipated.
on the HRA side?
Yeah, on the HRA side.
So did we break even or do better than if we had a gold plan?
That analysis I didn't do. You can look at it for, based on our current plan compared to the gold plan. If we had stayed with the gold plan, we would have spent 7,000 more. So we would have spent more money than we did this year. So we did save money
Okay.
by about $6,000 something.
That's what I wanted to hear.
But our HRA expense was higher than we budgeted. But that's, and we'll simply have to just, relook at that. And again, it depends how many employees are insured and are they family
And those
policies
numbers
or
aren't out yet because we don't have a full picture of our employees.
it's not till January that it changes. Right now we have one fewer than we had, a couple months ago, but, because we don't have that zoning and planning position filled.
Right.
So, but, when we budget for a position, we typically budget for that position as if that employee had a 2-person plan. And usually that's, helpful for us, but.
Right.
So what I need to know from the board is, should we stay with the silver plan, Blue Cross Blue Shield for next year? Or switch to the bronze plan? Those seem to be the two options.
So if we switch to the bronze plan,
And the
it would
analysis
be-
is on,
$5,000, a little over a $5,100 increase. Right. Then if we stay with the silver plan, it's a $10,200 increase.
and this is all,
So it's about a 5,000 differential between the two. And I think that's not a big enough, I don't
To
think it's a
change it.
big enough savings
no,
to risk shouldering on the HRA, all the increase in deductibles and the whole medical. If it were a bigger
right.
delta, I would be
Yeah.
more interested in talking about that. I just don't think that's a big enough.
That was what
savings.
Terry Martineau said. She said,
For 5,000, we would open up the town to a lot more risk it's just my feeling looking at.
and I think it's important to look at it every year because sometimes there is a significant difference.
Yep.
Which the year that we switched from the gold to the silver, it was a significant difference. And that was the right move.
Mhm.
But
So you're not just presenting data today, you're actually wanting a commitment and a vote today.
yes,
That's what your intention,
yes, so that I can email Terry tomorrow and they can let Blue Cross Blue Shield know which plan we're gonna go with. Because they have to send all the papers out to all the employees and there's a whole process.
okay, I move that we follow recommendations and stick with the silver plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Second that.
Any further discussion on that or questions for Jen?
So,
I appreciate the research and the numbers and it makes it easy for a complicated thing.
Yeah. Yeah, notice how I didn't provide you with this.
Thank you.
I have to look at that myself.
Okay, if you want anyone to help you understand it on a personal
Yeah.
level, let me know.
You're right.
Okay, thank you.
I get 5 calls a day, people wanting to help me.
All right, so
All right, so the next.
we have to
All in favor?
Yeah, you have to vote.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing no opposition, this motion carries 2-0.
So we got
Thank you.
the excavator purchase here, and apologize if I would have known we had guests, I would have allotted a little bigger time frame, but I don't know what your plan is, Russ, or.
We've got some extra time anyways.
Well, we do
Yeah,
have,
oh, we do.
we're way ahead of schedule,
Yeah, no, I realize that.
so that's a good thing. And
Go ahead.
So, first of all, I'd like to thank these three gentlemen for coming to the meeting tonight. Two of them, it's their second time coming
I don't know if you guys want
to a meeting, which
to, they want to say.
appreciate. So here tonight, we have Casey Matthew from CCI Sales and Service, Randy LaBelle, right, from Beauregard Equipment, and Michael Horgan from Pete's Equipment in Morrisville. We've been going around and around about an excavator now for quite some time. And I feel that we're ready to move forward with a recommendation and purchase of a machine. To give you a little background, we've, I don't know, Dwayne. Dwayne,
Thank you for
as
coming.
well.
you guys want to come up and sit at the table,
What I thought we would do, we can, we have 3 seats.
or one at a time?
Or I thought I want to just give my little presentation and then,
Sorry for interrupting.
no problem, man. I'd like to then have each one of them come up to the table to represent their product and their company. So
Mhm.
everybody has a little idea of who we've been working with very closely. Well, we have spent many hours on this excavator purchase, and we've been able to physically try each manufacturer that is represented here tonight. We did get pricing from two others, being John Deere and Cat. I did not include them into this purchase due to the fact that little to no interest in basically selling us a machine, and their prices were quite high. So I like to do business with people that want to do business with us, and they didn't seem to have much interest. So narrowed down to 3 vendors, which are these 3 gentlemen. We were able to start out, we tried a Sani excavator from CCR. It came at a pretty nice time when our machine was down. We were able to use it for, I would say, at least 2 weeks. It might have been a little over 2 weeks. And got continued work out of it and kept our summer going, which was very nice. We were able to try the case excavator. Unfortunately, Beauregard did not have a machine for us to try, and that's the one when Nate was here. He ended up renting one from Brian Tibbetts on the tune of $3,000 to rent that machine to try it. But it was worth us trying it. And so we knew what it did and didn't do. We originally did not reach out to Pete's Equipment for a Hyundai excavator, but Michael Horgan did hear wind that we were in the trying out modes or in the process of looking at an excavator, and he did his due diligence and reached out. And in my eyes, as a good salesman, being in those shoes once before, that's good. So in your packet, you should have a spreadsheet that we put together, and the prices, showing the prices. Can say good things about all the machines. They were all good machines. We had our things that we liked about each one. We had our things that we didn't like about each one, but overall, you can't take all the goods and make one. And we ended up trying the Sani excavator a second time, which Casey was nice enough to bring us another machine to try a second time. So equivalent to about 3 weeks of trying the Sani. Price-wise, the Sani is the least expensive. The Hyundai falls in the middle, and then the Case is the highest option. But before I go any further, I'd like to have each one come up and talk about their company and their product. Just give them a few minutes, and if you have direct questions for them, I think that would be great. And then afterwards, we can talk further and hopefully make a decision.
I just would like to add, though, that I did hear from Bob today, and he had to, last minute, had to not be here. So I would just be mindful of a big decision with two folks, but that's totally up to you. But I just wanted to put that out there that I did. I think Bob's impression was that you may be looking at a decision next meeting, but I didn't really get a
Bob did call me this morning early to let me know that he was not able to be here. I did ask him about that, with him not being here with us, because I do kind of want to get this behind us. And his comment to me was, everything can't stop just because I'm not going to be there. And he respects our wishes, but I do respect that as well. And
yeah,
I did talk with Dan this afternoon about that, and to see if I should get a hold of these guys to have them not come in because Bob not being here, being a big purchase. And our agreement was that we should let the guys come, talk about it, and if they decide to.
Yeah, we can see what's obvious and what's not obvious.
Right.
And if we aren't able to definitively pull the trigger, that we need to have a full board to do that.
Mhm.
But if things are obvious, we do have a quorum.
And the reason I wanted Dwayne to be here as well is Dwayne, as you know, is our main excavator operator. And his opinion is very important to
That
us
was good insight.
in this decision making. So that way, if you had questions direct, that I
Sure.
couldn't answer because, running only very little compared to what Dwayne does. And,
Excellent.
being a premier operator, I'm glad he's here.
Yeah.
So, yeah. When we start with Casey, if you want to come up, sit next to Dan if you'd like. And no, I think we'll just do one at a time, and then you can each have a spotlight. And
One hot seat at a time.
I've seen it time.
I'm sitting in the hot seat right now. It's moving right to you now.
I'm just gonna have you sign in.
Yeah.
By law, we need to know
Absolutely.
who you are, who you're with, and where you're from.
Yeah, we almost signed a petition up front.
That's okay.
We almost voted for something.
I started reading it.
We'd have figured that out.
Casey's a past select board member of the town of Wexford, so he's well aware of what these.
Mhm.
And we're going from the 3 to 5.
You keep it right here, let me just do it as they come up.
Oh, really? You
I'll
were
sign
good.
in.
Yeah, they're actually doing a floor vote on November 1st when we talk about the new sewer system. So we'll see. I'll let you know next week.
Yeah.
So 3 to 5.
Yeah.
So a little bit about CCR Sales and Service. We're located right here in Essex Junction, right behind Maple Fields. Probably some of you are current customers or have been in the store for one reason or another, from mowers to truck bodies to you name it, all the way to construction equipment. I started the company 18 years ago down on 2A. We started with 2 employees. Today we employ 19 full-time employees. We have 8 technicians, 3 dedicated to the Sandy line, 2 more that are cross-trained to the Sandy line, have all their certifications for Cat Cummins. We've got a couple others, Yanmar, DeWait's. Outside of that, we've been at this new location for almost 4 years now. I've been there the whole time. We have a full-time sales staff, as all of you have seen. We took on the Sandy line just a little over 36 months ago. We have just over 200 units floating in the field right now, within Vermont and upstate New York, which is our territory. The Sany product is definitely new to the area. It's not necessarily a household name. But in 2020, they surpassed Caterpillar in excavator production worldwide. So they are now the #1 producing excavator worldwide.
How long have they been around?
Here in the United States,
Just
in general, since 1974.
So where are they from?
Well, depending on which model it is, they have 46 plants across the globe from all different stuff. The model you are looking at actually comes out of Japan. Sany comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, or bucket-to-counterweight, however you want to look at it. So that's everything, powertrain, you name it, electrical, everything. So 5 years of bumper-to-bumper warranty. That is mileage to and from you, so it can be done on site. So we're not looking at transportation costs or anything else that is needed. Machine comes fully equipped. We've had great luck with them. We have testimonials if that's something that you need from some other towns that have purchased from us. The town has demoed the excavator. I have met with Dwayne. Not every excavator is perfect. Each operator is a little different than what they like. We've tried correcting some things that Dwayne preferred. Dwayne had been down there and operated in the yard for the last time, so that was the 3rd time. We're definitely here to stay. We have 2 road trucks ready to service you at any point in time. Outside of that, that's kind of CCR in a nutshell.
What is the ease of service? I'm speaking as a person who owns Saabs.
Okay.
So what is the ease of service?
When you say ease of service, like how easy is it for you to?
Obviously, how complicated of a machine is it, and what kind of tools? Obviously, you would have, since you do service them, you would have the right tools to do that. How quickly can you get to the problem, usually?
Typically same day. Every scenario is a little different. Obviously, if there's multiple machines down, the techs could be out, but typically same day or within the next day. We did provide a downtime guarantee to you guys and a buyback guarantee, if that's something that you're interested in. So 48-hour downtime guarantee will give you a loaner. The machine's going to be out of service for more than 48 hours at no charge. Does not cover transportation. There's a buyback guarantee to ensure your trust in our product also. I believe Russ has that with him, or maybe submitted it to you guys also.
What's your latest head scratcher?
The what?
Head scratcher that you couldn't figure something out.
I don't think there's nothing that we haven't not fixed. We've got some pretty highly trained technicians. They're factory technicians. The support behind them is enormous. They know that downtime is dollars. They understand that we need to be up and going. Sany does have a 24-hour hotline for technicians after hours, so we can get parts. We can get parts, typically anything that fits in a 4x4 crate overnight. And I believe in the email, I don't know if Jake sent it to all of you, the select board email, there was a little clip in there with a lot of rich content that talks about Sany. I was at the factory and it shows the fill rates and everything of all the parts. Factory for here is Peachtree City, Georgia. They have a full assembly and manufacturing at that facility.
So parts come out of Georgia, or? Okay.
Yeah, all parts are coming out of Georgia. There is a new assembly center and distribution point that's going in just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, as we speak.
What is, so I'm just not familiar with the Sany. Does it have an average, reliability rating?
Every excavator depends on its use. There's a lot of name brand components in there that may be used or are used in John Deere or Caterpillar, depending on the model's case, or Hyundai. There's a lot of cross components between a lot of them. I mean, life expectancy, I mean, it could range from 8,000 hours to 25,000 hours. It depends on service, its use, what it's going for. It's kind of all over the board. And it'd be the same for everybody.
Do you have any questions, Dwayne?
What did you think about the machine?
It worked. It was a good machine.
Any down points, any negatives for you?
They all have different differences. For me, it's all about comfortability, whether you can just kind of hop in it, do what you need to do without having to do a whole lot of tweaking and, because all these machines are getting way more and more complicated on adjusting hydraulic pressures and all that. And that, like Casey says, gets to kind of be more towards operator specifics. And I know that as well, because I've been out there doing it enough, and we're all, as operators, still trying to learn all that type of stuff. So for me, I just try to keep my focus on if I can get in a machine, it's comfortable, it does what I want it to do, knowing what situations we get ourselves into and all that. That's, to me, plays a big factor.
Of the three, did you have one that you were more comfortable in? Just ease of operation?
Yeah. When we've talked about this, it's almost like the idea would be is to line up machines and then just have like a day. And you don't even have to dig dirt with it or anything like that per se, unless you're really trying to test power, like pulling stumps and the stability of it and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I gotten in 3 different machines and run them numerous different times. We reached out to Chris Foley to just hop in his and just run through functions. And his is it's a case, but it's a conventional, which means it's not a low radius turn compact machine, which is what we're looking at. But in theory, it had the same size engine and all the other same things as the case that was a low radius. And then went to Jericho and got in there and just run through the same functions again, because it's been a while since we've been in the case. Just trying to, because once you get in one machine, might be the first one, and then by the time you get into 2 others, you're just like, oh, geez, I would like to see if this one has this or that. So we did that. Answer your question, I think it's hard. I think the case was a very friendly, get in, comfortability. Ergonomics plays a big role in these low radius machines. And right to the point of just moving your controls forward and then moving your seat back so you have the ability for your arm reach. You don't want to be like this in the machine all day, and you don't want to, so you want to be able to be proportionate to the controls that you're operating.
I appreciate the fact that you don't necessarily want to talk about your preference until we've heard all of the reports. And so we're not trying to pin you down.
Yeah.
Just knowing you have one is good to know.
But
Well, I mean, I do and I don't, because they're good machines, and it's hard to take all the variables and try to stack them all in together to be, because then you start getting into, I just like to design a machine that has everything that you want. And that's hard. And it's hard in trucks, and it's hard in a lot of things. Many manufacturers have different things about them that, and and that's, I think, has just been part of our world is operators and stuff, whether it's in trucks or mowers or, you can always take a lot of different things from multiple ones. And so that makes it a very hard decision when you have to.
Casey, going back to the warranty,
Mm-hmm.
what's not covered?
Nothing. I mean, it would be wear items, like your car, it'd be tires or tracks on an excavator.
Okay.
Windshield wipers, headlights, things like that. So your typical wear items.
Mhm.
You missed the most important one, Casey.
What's that?
Operator error.
We don't have any of that.
It's very, very true.
Right, right.
That's good to know.
So yeah.
You have any other input
Um,
or questions?
You know, I know the Sammy product more than I know the others. I have a Sammy excavator myself. It's nothing we use in a business. It's our own, it's a home. It's been very nice. Enjoy it. I've known Casey for many, many years. And we've had a few little issues with it, and they've been right there to take care of them. And so I know these two gentlemen. I've never worked with them, and so I don't know that history. We've had a case loader in the past.
No, we tried a
Oh, we
case
tried a
loader
case, okay. So,
before we got our CAD.
so really, we've had mostly CAT equipment in our fleet through the years, which have been good. You know, their service has been great. But there's other options out there.
Mhm. Are there more options out there now than when we acquired our cat? Or
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely,
I'd say Sandy's.
Sandy's definitely,
a newcomer?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Hyundai was probably.
1985.
Yeah.
Yeah,
About the same. We've lost a few, right? Is Link Belt still around?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually what I'm trying to sell you.
Oh, all right.
Link Belt, in my case, are the same excavator built by Sumitomo.
but no, I think Casey's been very, very accommodating to us, especially with our machine being down and keep it another week, and which has been good, very good.
Mhm.
We did have a little issue with the first one we tried with the thumb. Tech came up, replaced the cylinder on it, and yeah. So they're very, and he's been very into earning our business with some of the other options that he's been able to offer. He is the only vendor that's been able to get us all the attachments that we wanted to pursue on the new machine. So that's a feather in his cap, I would say. But again, I've worked with Casey. I know Casey. I haven't really worked with these guys. They're good guys. So we get good support from Casey and so on.
Okay, so we're ready to
Move to the next one.
The next one.
move to the
Thank
next
you.
one.
Thank you.
Thanks, Casey.
Thank you, Casey.
everybody.
And you're welcome to stay too for the whole presentation.
Get out of here.
We'll go down through price.
With a good competitive spirit.
We'll go Michael next.
Save the best for last, Russ.
We'll keep it
Save the best for last.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm
Thanks
Dan.
for inviting us. My name's Michael Oregon, representing Pizza Equipment in Morrisville. I'll give you a little rundown of Pizza Equipment. Kind of a smaller company, 11 employees. We have 4 full-time techs, three that are factory trained from Hyundai. One is a tech school student from Lamoille that will be hopefully factory trained shortly. Jason took over the company from his dad 10 years ago. We've been a Hyundai dealer for 12 years, going on 13 years. Hyundai was started in 1985 on the construction side. Jason's dad started Pete's Equipment 30 odd years ago, selling stuff out of the back of his truck. We're a multi-line equipment line dealer. We sell Coyotes, ASV skid steers, the Hyundai line, diamond heads, Lofness heads for your skid steers or your excavators, whatever way you want to go.
Mhm.
I've very much enjoyed my interactions with Russ and Dwayne and coffee time and trying to bribe him with some breakfast sandwiches and whatever it was taking. That's the fun part of the job.
Oh, yeah, well,
So tell us about the warranty.
3-year, 3,000 hours, or
3 year?
5-year, 5,000 hour, 10,000 hours structural warranty.
Say that all again.
3-year, 3,000 hours, or 5-year, 10,000 hour structural. It's very similar to
Okay.
the Sani.
And again, is that everything?
Yep.
What's not included? Maintenance.
Yep, we're very similar to the Sani.
And what about techs coming to service
Yep, we
anything?
have 3 service trucks, ready to go, whenever they're needed, hopefully not needed.
Okay.
One thing that will kind of set our Hyundai apart from others, we offer HiMate, so it's a satellite global that we can keep track of that machine wherever it is.
You're gonna be tracked.
We can track him. If it's down or if it's flashing a code or
Okay.
we know what it's doing. Right from Chad's laptop, it comes to my phone, Jason's phone.
What about loaners?
Yep,
What's
we
the-
have machines.
is there a trigger 2 days or?
If they needed a machine, we bring it.
That's the only way you can diagnose stuff is with the satellite, or?
Is it the only way? If the machine is down, at least my tech knows what he needs to come with before he gets here.
so you'll know before Dwayne knows.
Maybe.
He could.
Casey, do you do that too?
Yes, that's kind of the industry standard right
Most
now.
manufacturers are linked right up.
So if there's a code thrown, you'll get a message.
Yeah, like if they forget to change the oil and forget to put it back in. We've seen that.
It actually even tells you, I don't know, yours may too, like start time, stop time.
Yeah,
Engine hours, where you're at, everything.
but I just bought a new Toyota and I can track anybody who's driving it.
Sweet.
That
really
come factory?
cool.
Yeah, oh,
That
yeah.
came factory with a,
Oh, yeah, the app is amazing.
huh.
If my son ever wants to borrow it, he's gonna hate it.
Well, hopefully he knows it's there.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell him. I already told
You won't borrow it often.
him. But yeah, that's a
That's really
a
helpful.
It's,
good feature.
So I want to back up. The last proposal you gave us said a 5-year, 5,000 hour warranty. Is that just this particular, because you listed a serial number with it, so that
that machine has, yeah,
this machine here, if it was still available, would have a 5-year, 5,000 hour.
Yep.
But if it is not available,
3-year.
then it goes back to the 3-year.
Yep. And we can offer the 5-year, 10,000 hour structural.
An offer, or it does come with
It
it?
comes with it.
So what would we need to do to get it to be 5-year, or how much of an extra cost would that be to go 5-year, 5,000 hours?
It's in there. It's included in the price.
Right, but I'm saying is, you listed a serial number with this one.
Mhm.
So it's 5-year, 5,000 hours. If this machine was not available for us to purchase, and we ordered one, would that have a 3-year, 3,000 hour warranty, or would that have a 5-year, 5,000 hour warranty?
3-year, 3,000.
Okay. If we wanted to bump it to 5-year, 5,000 hours, there's a cost to that.
There is.
Do you know what that cost is off the top of your
A
head?
couple $1,000.
Is this machine still available that you quoted us?
I haven't dared look. I've been waiting for the meeting.
You never know when that's gonna be.
Right. It was. It was still.
So where is it made?
Korea,
And do they have any assembly plants here? or-
right down the road from Sandy.
Eh,
I think we're almost neighbors down there. It's pretty
In
close.
Georgia, huh?
I think it's Norcross, or I don't know. When I went to school, it was Norcross down there. So
Mhm,
they're close.
mhm.
With your 4 technicians, how long have they been with you?
Nick has been there 8 years. Ryan, a graduate from Lamoille's, working on 4 years. And Eli's 2. And Cooper's working on year 1. He's not factory trained yet, but very good kid.
So they go down to Georgia for their training?
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Ryan just was there.
Mhm. Good.
And I went last winter.
I'll just say that,
That's all I have.
I've been appreciative of Michael and, first of all, reaching out when he did hear
Mhm.
about us. So we didn't reach out to him, so I thought that was good.
Mhm.
He did end up coming up one day with Jason, his boss, talked with him as well, which was nice. Did operate his machine. It was some nice features. Like the Cummins side of that engine anyways, but whatever.
Dwayne, what did you think of the machine from Pete's?
I liked it. It was very, you could hop in it. It was basic, a lot of basic compared to other machines that a lot of
Mhm.
electronic type codes and stuff. But yeah, it was a very clean, basic machine. Ergonomics wise was pretty good.
Okay.
The engine was super quiet, which I noticed right off. Because in our world, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of, and you're running the machine all day long unless you're wearing, earmuffs, which you don't necessarily want to, because you gotta be able to listen to cars honking or
Mhm.
whatnot, people
Mhm.
talking, or, visibility was good on it. They all are having their cameras and stuff in them now, and, but again, these low radius machines, they've had to gain room somewhere. So they're going up with like engine compartment stuff. So when you're sitting in the machine, you can just get kind of blocked out, and
Mhm.
you don't have the full visibility of a conventional machine where everything's kind of squatted down in the engine compartment, so that you can kind of have 360 view as you're turning. So with these low radiuses, you're compromising a lot of that. So it's important to just be aware of that when you're looking at all the differences in machines. So there's, as well as Sandy, you get a lot better visibility. Minus just having the cameras to be your kind of guide per se.
So these newer machines, they have visibility and screens with cameras and stuff that some of the older machines have not.
No, like ours that we have, yeah, there's no cameras.
Okay, so it's kind of like cars,
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
had-
Yeah.
They throw a bunch more chips in it.
And also, just so you folks know what we're looking at when he's talking conventional or
Low radius.
low radius is, where our current machine, the back of the machine sticks out quite a ways. So if you're on the side of the road ditching, that back end of that machine is in the other lane. So it makes it hard for traffic and so on, where he's got to kind of straighten back up. Where these machines are pushed in, so you stay in your lane. Even if you're turning, the back end of that machine is not going out into the other lane. It just keeps it, so it's a lot, for our use is a.
Yeah, so for our application, a lot of our roads are already narrow as it is, so if you're in a conventional, you can be in the actual other lane,
Mhm.
doing what you need to do on the other side of the road. We'll even set ourselves up so that all we have to do is I just have to turn so then cars can go by us and then turn back. These low radiuses are in the mailboxes and all sorts of other things that you're having to constantly keep in mind, not hitting and swinging into. And
Mhm.
so the low radius, it's a very nice technology, But what comes with that is you're sacrificing in a lot of other areas. I keep going back to ergonomics because that's what I'm noticing in these is they're just so compact, and I don't know how somebody that's very tall and whatnot can, so that comes into play with the seats, the way the seats move and how much they move and controls, and that's all changing in these versus the old conventionals like our excavator.
Good. I don't have anything else.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you for taking initiative.
Exactly.
Hey, Randy.
Got the best for last.
Yeah, sir. Hey, Randy LaBelle, for Beauregards. I've been with Beauregards for 32 plus years. They have been in business for 55. And actually ran right here in Essex for a bit before they went about the Colchester facility, which was 84. Since then, we've gone to 6 dealerships across 3 states, New England. So I actually have 6 filled parts departments ready to take care of any parts issues. Case super rich in history. Case started with the ag side in 1842. Germain Case actually designed the first steam engine. In 1912, they started in construction equipment. The particular model I'm trying to sell your town is definitely built in Japan. All my short radius excavators come out of Japan, which I'm certainly not shy to say. They come over on a boat. I like to say they're built right beside the Toyota vehicle factories. We know what the longevity of Toyotas are. 3-year, 3,000 hour full machine warranty. Again, with service provided. Wherever my machine goes down, my service guy will go there.
Okay.
Which I have.
Is it the same nuts to bolts, everything is covered other than maintenance?
Yes. And actually, my maintenance is even covered in my case for 3 years, 2,000 hours. I take care of every 500 hours, we do the oil changes. We even take the old oil away. Pump the machine with grease before we leave. And what's nice with that is my tech will always check the machine for maybe potential issues the operator don't even see coming. And again, we got, Site Watch, which monitors my machine like we all do. What's nice, what links that with my ProCare is nice, because Dwayne, you just run that thing. You run it, you're going to get a call from my service guy, Frank. Hey, you got 200 hours on your machine, 40 hours, you need service. What do you want to do?
So that's via satellite as well?
Yes.
Everyone's doing the same setup?
We have plenty of them out there. I would have no problem coming up with a bunch of references. My machines don't go down. Bob Beauregard started with a written policy of a no down policy, which is awesome, Casey. That is awesome. Unfortunately, in the past several years with inventory levels, this and that, we don't do it in writing, but family owned business, we will do everything we can to keep you guys up and running. If we have something, we do provide it. It's not in writing though.
What was the service side again? How many years and hours?
3 years up to 2,000 hours, which in your packet, I actually broke it down, what we do. Price even at 1,000 hours is a pretty big service. We'll even take care of the serpentine belt. Again, if you use all them hours, that's good value there. If anybody knows the cost of servicing equipment these days, Everything's, special oils, full synthetics.
Do you
In the
have
past,
do you have a case available? You have the equipment available now?
no,
How
I got
long,
them coming in.
how long of a wait?
I have the particular bottle I'm trying to sell you coming in November. In the past 3 years, we finally got one of our 145s out to the state of Vermont. And since then, they bought 5. Love them. I send my customers, hook them right up to the operators from the state of Vermont. They all absolutely love my sumo automobile. My case excavator has got hydraulic system mastered, where I am a very smooth, powerful hydraulics, which makes for a safer excavator without jerking. And
How about your technicians? What is the rundown of length of service?
I would say I could have a service truck next day in 90% of circumstances.
How long has he been with you?
My service guy's been with me 8 years. My other tech, Nate, is 10, and Chad's like 5.
Okay.
My parts
Any
guy.
difficulty getting employees?
Say that again?
Have you had any difficulty getting employees?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're always ads for technicians.
Yep.
We're trying to look for a sales guy for the last year. My other salesman / brother-in-law that worked with me at Beauregard's retired after 38 years, end of last year, and we can't find anybody to replace him. You call my dealership in Colchester and talk to my parts guy. He's been there 32 years. We started a week apart. I had a technician, he retired, we brought him back at Peterson. He was with Beauregard's for 55 years. He started with them, and they started in West Charleston.
He was the best.
History.
He was the best.
You know Pat Peterson?
Oh, yeah. I used to work on my seat. I just quick question. So these are not included in this? These are add-on
Correct.
things?
Correct.
Okay.
Them are all bylines, I call them, that you would have to add.
So
You added some.
to make it fair, apples to apples, and if you see in the highlighted yellow, all the prices include the clamshell digging bucket, the Geeth tilt coupler, a ripper tooth, and a counterweight and roof guard.
Oh, I see because I actually saw them.
That's how.
I already saw them numbers there.
All of these machines are spec'd with those. That's what these prices.
So yeah, I see what you did, Ross, trying to apples for
So we
exactly.
could see what the prices were apples
That's
to
very
apples.
helpful.
And then you added the 1850 for the.
I did have the 1850, yep. So and then at the bottom, I had one thing I did yeah, go ahead. At the bottom was, the first column that says a 60-inch clamshell big ditch bucket. And that's the part when I said that CCR was the only one to offer everything that we were looking for, and we're definitely looking for that 60-inch clamshell ditch bucket, which is that number listed there. And then the next one is the mulch head. We had some conversations on going with a mulch head. I don't think we've had enough time on the mulch head side to make a recommendation on the mulch head. So I didn't want to include that in this. I want to do our homework on that.
Gotcha.
But I wanted to get this excavator purchase finalized, and then we could start researching that mulch head a little bit closer to verify that. But
That's all I got, unless you got something else for me.
No,
You answered all my questions. Thank you.
Sure.
I'm familiar with Beauregard. I went up there and bought equipment for my 8-year-old. His backhoe still works. You may have sold it to him.
Case built the very first integrated loader backhoe in 1957.
Yeah, it's really kind of a cool thing. Had a lot of sandbox use. Still good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that the old school steel or the plastic?
Oh, the steel.
The steel.
The steel. No, we bought steel.
You may want to take that out of the sandbox.
No,
and,
no,
see if it's-
it's in the attic now.
Okay.
It's in the attic.
Might be generating some value.
Yeah,
Randy,
yeah.
Randy, how do you spell your last name there?
Oh, I'm sorry, Lebel.
Okay.
Whoops, you spelled it backwards.
You can spell it either.
You were waiting to say that.
You don't know how many times I've said that in my 54 years.
Dwayne, what did you think about the testing, this one, the case?
The case?
Yeah.
I like the case. There's a lot of, there's a lot of good things on it. Ergonomics is good. Big thing with, and I can't remember with the Hyundai, but, again, with these machines compacted down, just getting in and out of them, can be a challenge. We're accustomed to ours, we have like 20, you get into just the track itself. We have a wider track on our machine. All these machines are standard 24-inch track. So when you're trying to get out of the machine and find the track to step on it, to get down out of it, I'm finding to be quite different. And so whether, you control over here because you get out the left-hand side, if you can take that control, pick it up, move it out of the way, so you get out of the seat and then get out, versus a control that's stationary. It's got a flip lever to activate the hydraulic system. You have to be very careful not to catch something, catch your shirt, so that's why I go back to the ergonomics again.
Yeah.
That I think is a big factor. There's a lot of big factors in these machines with, they seem to run, if I remember, that was a Cummins.
Isuzu.
Isuzu and is Isuzu with the sanding. And then you'll find even two different machines, they can have the same engine, but one can be a lot quieter than the other. So yeah, a lot of variables to take into consideration.
Thank you.
So the way I see it, tell me if I'm wrong, we need to make a couple of decisions. One is, do we have enough here to make a decision with the two of us? Is a fairly obvious thing. And Bob obviously is a part of it by looking at the tape. And he can see that. And the second thing is, what would be the procedure here? We go into executive session and talk about this further.
That would be wise if you were gonna,
I would think that would be a good thing.
if you were ready to consider, I guess you gotta answer the first question.
Yeah. And I would want to do that also in executive session so that we can kick around what's obvious and what's not obvious.
Maybe the way, if you wanted to just, we could tune up, whether you wanted to do that right now or you wanted to wait till the end.
I wouldn't mind, I would like to have Dwayne part of the executive session. So maybe I don't know.
We could pause the recording and,
So
upstairs.
I don't know how much time you have and what you're willing to do, but I don't think we have a long agenda.
I worked him hard today.
I'm whatever you'd like to do.
And you gotta get up early tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it would make sense to do an executive session right now.
Okay.
Do 10, just be really brief about it. And
Yeah, I think that we can, and we can let you go on your way.
let me get you the right, citation here.
Right.
You're going into executive session, you don't need us.
That would be true.
I've been on boards enough, I know what that means.
thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, all three of you for your presentation.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Very,
Wait,
very good.
have a good one. Yeah, we should be in touch.
Good.
Nice meeting all you guys.
Excellent. Take
Thank
good
you.
care.
You guys all have a good night.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Good evening.
You as well. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Take care.
bye.
Related to the Oregon Jericho.
So I would say it's,
Pause the recording.
well, hold on, you wanna
We need to make a
make a
motion.
motion here? I'm just trying to find the best,
Probably the contract one, you know? I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, just
contractual
trying to-
matter.
Yeah, yeah. And I
Competing.
think that, it was good, all of us maintained an objectivity that was healthy.
absolutely.
During these presentations, listening.
Yeah, so it would be, one VSA section 313 1A.
Okay. Okay, I move that we, enter executive session, under VSA 313 1A, paragraph 1A, for a contract that would otherwise put the town at a disadvantage. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are, included in the executive session would be the town administrator, the highway supervisor, and the experienced excavator operator
Do I know right? All right.
for the town of Underhill. So we are in executive session. Please stop.
Now be recorded.
I move that we exit executive session, return to open session. It is 7:45. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries 2-0. And the outcome of our executive session discussion is to continue to evaluate, including the third member of the select board that is not present today, and be able to make a decision at a special meeting to be scheduled shortly.
Good. Okay, so, 7:46, and I've got just some appropriation requests. And Patty, you weren't here last week, but in reviewing our social service agency appropriation policy, remember we kind of teamed up, we kind of ganged up some of these appropriations, but I think that's an incorrect way to do it. We should be reviewing them as they come, because our policy states that if an appropriation request is larger than $250 than it was the previous year, and the social service requests by letter within 120 days or before 120 days of town meeting, then you can make a decision whether to make them go out and get a petition to get on the warning, or you can put them on the warning. So the case we had last week was steps and domestic violence. There was a substantial increase, and the result of that was to place it on the warning. So not make them go get a petition. So we don't have any of those situations this week, but I think I'd like to get in the habit of just
Evaluating that.
evaluating
looking at
that
each as they
as we
come in.
go, and not, it's too much to gang them all up. So Chittenden County Unit for Special Investigations, also known as the PUSI for short, as they call themselves. I'll just briefly run down this. They're asking for fiscal year 25 for $2,577, and that's a substantial decrease from what they got last year, which was $5,700. So I may just check in with them to make sure that that number is correct, but according to what I'm seeing, it's the per capita share. And that's what that is.
These are not covered under our regular taxes that we pay.
Yeah, these are
They are.
appropriations, so they're appropriations, but they're handled, they're taken out, they're paid quarterly. They're part of, so they all got to be appropriations by the voters, vote of the voters. So it's the select board job to monitor the progress of these appropriations. So thus the policy.
Okay.
If they're asking for $250 more than they had last year, and there's some exceptions to that,
But
right?
like, I'm asking the question more broadly, more generally. For example, state police, we don't pay.
We don't pay the state police.
Just let me use that as an example.
Yeah, it's a bad example because we don't pay them anything. Use the Chittenden County sheriffs, maybe. Is that a better example? Or
No, that's not an appropriation.
it is in a way, but it's different.
That's a contract.
It's a contract, yeah.
So all the like fire,
That's a contract.
sheriff, all these things are coming through not out of tax base, but as an appropriation base request.
No, so those are more like contracts, like Dan said. Let me try to think of a good example. Visiting Nurses Association or something like that. If you look at the town report, you'll see there's many, steps to end domestic violence.
I'm just thinking police specifically. Like, why is this not covered as part of like?
The Kuzi, you're saying?
Yeah.
It's because it's a different entity, right? They have a different budget. They have a different entity. They petitioned to get on the ballot as an appropriation. It would really help, I think, if you looked at last week's copy of the appropriation policy.
I'm not objecting to it. I just it strikes me, the police stuff, police related safety stuff. Why is that not part of general?
Because it's something we can choose to be a part of or not. The voters affirmed that we wanted this particular organization that's not connected with the Vermont State Police. They may work with the Vermont State Police, but they're a separate entity.
It's
So,
only
like, we're-
dealing with a specific legal issue.
Right. And basically, you can't just drop one of these appropriations off. They were put on by the voters. You can only govern based on this policy.
I remember, they have come, bringing all their presentation to the select board in the past.
Yeah, they haven't done that for a while. COVID kind of.
But that might have been, what I remember back in 2010 or something.
But for example, they had one year, I think Dan was on the select board and I was too. They came in with a substantial large request. So we put it as an article at town meeting. So on the warning, the voters decided they were a previous appropriation, but the increase was so substantial that, and then the voters we do that right from the floor. So it's not, so these are, I guess it would be a totally different thing in all the 20 years or 30 years I've almost gone to town meeting. They've always been a part of it.
So in the material that we received, they show their income coming from in-kind town investigators. 71% of their income comes from that. 7% is town contributions.
That's
in-kind prosecutor, DCF, is another 22%.
right.
Are we in the gray 7% with this request?
Yeah, we're in the per capita, so this is all Chittenden County towns. We are in and if you read the thing, the above was calculated based upon the participating agencies paying 100% of its shared operating costs based on the agency's percentage of population. So it's prorated based on per capita, just like the ambulance service, just like different things.
But the bulk of their funding is from somewhere else.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
And
it's a huge.
This little piece is a little piece of their income pie is for. It's not their only funding request.
No, but integral for their survival.
Agreed.
Right? So you can tell, you look on page 5, there's a breakdown of each town. Registered sex offenders in the town, Cousie's case count. We don't compare to Burlington or Essex or Milton or South Burlington. Nonetheless, they still do work here.
Yeah, I guess my question is probably for them.
I don't know how differently you would handle them.
I mean, what if all the towns one year said, no, we're not gonna do it? What are they gonna do? Drop a particular service?
Doubtful, but you can't make that decision.
No, understood.
This select board can't
Understood.
make that
No,
decision.
I understood.
You
Okay.
could certainly
I'm
ask
good.
that question. I think
I'm
it's that would be a controversial one, but certainly worth asking. So AgeWell was the other I had here.
Mhm.
That's the basically used to be known as the Champlain Valley Area on Aging. Another organization, all these organizations rely on some kind of local match to keep them running. And we have an aged population. My mother used to work for this organization. Incredible organization. They are asking for $2,000. We last year had them in at $1,750. Although the town report says $1,500, we made a mistake there. And this is total for the year, right? So we pay it quarterly for their taxes. We made a mistake and did not give them the $1,750 as reflected on their request. We approved their request, but didn't illustrate it right in the budget.
So we gave what we budgeted.
So, right. So
Okay.
we've cheated them out of $250, which I think we should make right because it was our mistake. It's $250, but so the $1,750 they asked last year, they're asking for $250 more, so $2,000. Right. So that's according to the policy which you govern by, that just goes automatically into the budget. The next is the Jericho-Underhill Park District, and have absolutely no say in this because the Park District is a municipality. Their budget is voted on separately at a separate meeting. But I'm just throwing it in here to say, well, FY24 was 23,106, and they're asking for 23,799. And Livy is unable to come to this meeting, but hopefully they're going to come to one in November.
Yeah, it'd be good for her to
Do a presentation.
speak on the public record.
But again, this is a separate vote, municipality, just as the library is.
Okay.
Library is a municipality of its own. Once that budget is set, it has to go in our town report, just like that. So that was it for that. So that's all I have. But if you would like to get the koozie in here, they used to come, I can ask them and get that set up, but they're asking for half of what they normally
Yeah,
get.
I don't have a problem.
We've given them this money for the past 3 years. The budget hasn't changed, and this year it's somehow cut in half.
I think it's a good idea to call them and make sure that that's a correct number.
Yeah, I do too, because they're very important, child safety.
Mm-hmm.
Not only child safety, but just safety in general.
Yeah, it's good to support their work.
I'm just surprised they're not funded differently, so they don't have to rely on these little pieces.
Well, they are. This is
Yeah.
just a small percentage of what they do for the towns. And
as we saw, Plainfield, I think we were looking at Plainfield when Russ was looking at the truck to Peachum Police. Peachum puts all their appropriations on the warning. But now you're gonna have a 3-page warning with all these little
What's this?
$250.
vote on each box.
To vote on each box, very cumbersome, I think. That's why we created the policy.
Yeah.
So just to keep people in check, but theoretically, it could just keep upping it to $250 and still stay within the the parameter. But anyway, that's all I have, unless you have something else. It's 7:58, closing public comment. I don't see any public on the screen.
No public anywhere. So we are at warrants and minutes, and the minutes will be deferred because Patty wasn't there and we don't have a quorum to vote on. But I vote or move to approve the payroll warrants for 10/26/2023. Is there a second?
Second that?
Is there any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No opposition, the motion carries 2-0. I move to approve the AP warrants for 10/26/2023. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Are there any questions?
Nope.
I have questions. I'm wondering how the sand and gravel is doing. Those seem to be our big ticket items for this time of year. Are we all set, you think?
Sand was completed. And the last bill I just brought in tonight, coded, under our budgeted amount, small amount, $700 or something, but kept it. It's under our budget.
They're big numbers, you know.
Oh, they're big numbers.
But it's important.
Yeah, it's very important. Gravel wise, the reason we hauled in some more gravel was we get our gravel from Tetros, and Tetros started this summer with a large pile of gravel, which was great. We didn't haul a lot of gravel this year, and then their pile got very small. And then we found out that their crusher that they purchased didn't work well, and they are done crushing for the year. So they were not making any more gravel. So we took a few days and hauled some gravel in, so we'd had a stockpile at the shop. So that's well, we could need some. And we didn't have but maybe a couple loads left.
So we may have more than we need, which is an okay thing.
Yeah, because you never know when we're gonna need some
Gravel
gravel.
doesn't rot.
No. But we're still, a lot less than we have used in the past. But what we've purchased, the majority has been in stockpile. Should be.
Good.
But we won't be hauling any more until probably spring. And
So
sand is
when?
done. Spring.
Good. So we still have a little money in the budget left.
We have a fair amount of money left for the gravel in the
Okay.
budget. And
So we'll get an idea in Jen's next quarterly
Yeah.
report as to where that stands, by the spring.
the sand is complete and all up.
It depends on mud season.
Right.
And adverse weather, obviously. Okay,
But we had to have some in stock.
and that was my question, looking at those numbers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hearing no opposition, the motion passes 2-0. So we have member items, correspondence.
I don't have any correspondence.
So our next meeting is November 9th, but we're going to try to take care of business earlier than that with a special meeting where we can all be present. And I'm hearing that we don't need an executive session now if we're going to meet so soon.
I just want to talk about schedule for a quick sec.
Okay. Yeah, the November schedule.
We talked-
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we've got Thanksgiving Day as a meeting day, which we're not going to do. So I spoke briefly with Dan about it, and we thought about maybe moving the November 23rd meeting to November 30th.
I can do that.
You can do that.
Yeah.
We'll just confirm with Bob. And you can do that. And then, just thinking way ahead, December 28th, so close to the holidays, we thought about moving that to December 21st. Is that what we said?
Yeah, I cannot meet on the fourth one because I have family events that week. But before Christmas would be, better. I don't know what other people's schedule is.
So you said December 21st?
Yeah, so we'd be meeting on December 14th and the 21st, but that could be good because we're going to be hammering out the budget. So it wouldn't hurt to have back-to-back meetings there, and then we take a break and reconvene.
Yeah, I can do that, 21st.
Okay. So that's good for Eddie and Dan. Good.
Okay, you can check with Bob on
I'll check
that.
with Bob on that, or we can talk about it Monday if we meet. So anyway, that's all I had.
And the next meeting would be January 11th.
Yeah.
But we might have any kind of a work session or whatever, because
Possible. I think we're gonna get things ironed out here pretty well.
good.
We're kind of ahead of it.
Well,
already.
it's more organized every year, I tell you.
Yeah,
Well, I just remember budgets just taking forever.
forever. I know.
Forever. Anyway, so this is good.
So if we could do an quick executive session, I would appreciate it.
On the personnel,
On the-
I would, sure.
We can do that. We can do the same thing if you want to, or we could just, if you don't want me here, we can just end the meeting and you can record the end of it, whatever you
Yeah,
want to
it's
do.
probably not gonna be very long.
Okay,
But we don't need you in the meeting, I don't think.
okay. So, go ahead. But Bob did state that,
This is not that.
okay, it's a different issue.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I move that we enter executive session under 1 VSA, section 313, paragraph A3. The appointment or employment or evaluation of a public officer or employee, and the people in attendance would be the select board and the highway supervisor. Is there a
I'll
second?
second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are in executive session. It is 8:06 PM.
I think I'm gonna just end this meeting for good, and then I'll fill you in, Donna, what happened after the fact.